Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Don from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And the next time you need a part for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the fuel tank on this 2001 Ford Taurus. And the items that you're going to need for this is a new fuel tank from 1AAuto.com, a flat blade screwdriver, drip pan, 2 pairs of pliers, 13mm socket and ratchet with an extension, a file, a vise, a hammer, jack and jack stands, and depending on the condition of your vehicle, you may also need a damaged bolt removal tool and an impact wrench. Start off by starting your car, and then go to your fuse box and remove this fuel pump relay. And the car should stall out. Now turn the car off.
Okay, we're going to disconnect these 2 fuel lines from the fuel filter, pry down on the tabs, and then pull them free. And while Don's doing that, in order to prepare for this, you can see that we have it on a lift, but doing it with just jack and jack stands is okay too. You just want to jack the vehicle up as high as you can so that you can have a lot of room to get the tank out from underneath.
Now put your drip pan underneath your fuel filter here and pull those hoses free. And just let that drain for a second. Now loosen up these 2 hose clamps and slide those clamps back. And we'll fast forward as Don does this. Now just pry up this yellow clip. And once you get it pried up most of the way, it's easier to just remove it by hand. And we'll fast forward as Don just works these hoses free. And you can see he does use some penetrating oil to help. You don't need to, but it definitely does make it a bit easier. And then just pull this hose free as well.
And with that hose free, there's actually another hose coming into it that you want to disconnect. Lastly, at the front passenger side corner of the tank, there is a harness. You just push in the tab and disconnect the harness.
Put a block of wood on a jack and then just jack up your gas tank. And then you want to remove the bolts holding in the gas tank straps. There's a 13mm on both. And just using a 13mm socket and ratchet with an extension, or using an impact wrench and a 13mm socket, you just want to remove that bolt. And when we go to remove this one, we have a bit of a problem with it. As you can see, it's completely rounded. So to remove it, we're going to need to use this damaged bolt removal tool, and you just put it into a socket and use an impact wrench, and those teeth will bite into the bolt and help to pull it free. So just push it up into place. And use your impact wrench to remove it. And we'll fast forward as Don does this. Now pull back the gas tank strap, and there's a pin that holds this end in, and you can remove it one of 2 ways. You can either use a flat blade screwdriver to push it up and into the hole, or you can use a small pair of pliers. And once you can see the pin at the edge of the hole, and once you can see the pin through the hole, then you just use your pliers and pull the pin out. And we'll just fast forward as Don does this on the other strap.
Okay, and actually having your car down on the driveway on jack stands with the jack underneath is easier. You can see, because of the fuel in the tank, we've got two people holding the tank, pull out the jack, and then we kind of shift it down and out, and then pull it right down. Remove any debris with a broom, or compressed air works well as well.
Screwdriver and a hammer, and just remove that ring. And to get the ring off, you're going to need to pull this harness free. Just disconnect it, pull it from that clip, and then slide the ring over these harnesses. Now use a flat blade screwdriver to pry up around the outside of the fuel pump sender. And you want to make sure you remember which way the arrow on the fuel pump sender is facing for when you go to install it onto your new fuel tank. And that sender will pull up. You want to just let it drain for a second, and then remove it the rest of the way. Now you can just drain out some of the gas that's inside of this.
And just use a container and a funnel, and now you can recover any unused fuel.
And you do have to swap these hoses over, so just pry out these clips. And then the hoses will pull free. Next, remove this gasket and push your new gasket into place. And just put a little bit of penetrating oil around the outside of it. On the left is the old fuel pump sending unit. On the right is the new one from 1A Auto. You can see they're identical and they're going to fit exactly the same. And then you want to push your fuel pump sending unit back down into place, making sure that the arrow is facing the same way that it was on your old fuel tank. And once you have it pushed down into place, slide that ring over your harnesses. And while applying pressure to the sending unit, just push that ring into place and twist it back. And then use your hammer and flat blade screwdriver to completely twist it back into place. And then reclip this harness into the bracket here. And reconnect it up here. Reclip your harness and then reconnect it. This harness, just run it underneath those tubes and push that clip into that hole on the side of the gas tank. And our pins for our gas tank straps are a little bit rusty, so we just filed them down a little bit. And then you want to take your two gas tank straps. The long one goes on the passenger side, the shorter one on the driver's side. So we just put the passenger side one up into place, slide that pin in, push the gas tank back up, put the jack back underneath the gas tank just to hold it into place. And we'll fast forward as Dawn replaces that gas tank strap and replaces the 13mm bolt and tightens it up. Now put the driver's side gas tank strap back into place and slide that pin in. And then replace the 13mm bolt over here and tighten it up. Reconnect this harness. And slide these two hoses back onto your fuel filter and replace those two clips. Now you just want to reconnect all these hoses, and we'll fast forward as Don does that. Make sure you replace that yellow clip to hold that hose into place. And make sure you get this upper hose too.